Oh man. Hi everyone. I don't know if this is working or not, but I'm gonna see. Well, okay, so we are live here, obviously very live here at the SARF, and for another Q&A, which may or may not have some technical difficulties, but we have a special surprise for you today. I have a special guest who's joining us from his room. So let's go ahead and show you that. We have a special guest here tonight. His name is Guelah. Hi, Guelah. Thank you for joining us tonight. So, for those of you that don't know, Guelah is the Spokesplatypus for the Stuffed Animal Rescue Foundation, and I am actually his living companion. You're right, it has been a long time. You're probably the most consistent male companion I've had in my adult life. Yes, of course, I know you're not my boyfriend. I mean, we're not even the same species. Yes, Guelah, I know that you have a girlfriend. You have also told me that she is very attractive. Absolutely. Yes, I do know this. Although I have never met her, so I guess I'm just supposed to take your word for it. I mean, I've always introduced you to all of my boyfriends. No, that is not why they think I'm crazy. Okay, yes, maybe that one. But so we're in the middle of a pandemic here, so maybe we could talk about that. Okay, good. So, you're one of the most well-respected stuffed animals in the country. You're kind of a role model for a lot of stuffed animals, and I'm wondering if you have anything you'd like to tell them, since they're all dealing with this pandemic just like we are. Yes, absolutely. I totally agree. They definitely need to be wearing masks when they're out and about in public. I mean, especially with the different states that are opening up stores, like here in Texas and like Georgia, where we're from. Yes. Oh my goodness. Absolutely. You have to wear them the right way. I mean, I've seen some crazy things. I was in the grocery store the other day, and there was this little girl, and she had her stuffed bear companion with her. And the stuffed bear, he pretended to sneeze, and he didn't even put his paw up to his nose or anything, or even his elbow. He just pretended to sneeze without covering it at all. Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking either. Oh, yeah, you're right. Thank you for pointing that out. That's true. A lot of stuffed animals don't have noses, but you know what I mean. I mean, you have a bill and you cover it when you pretend to sneeze. I mean, that's just what you do. Exactly. Well put. You need to cover the part of your face where pretend droplets would come out if you're pretend sneezing or coughing. Yeah, period. It's not hard, right? Anyway, okay. So I don't want to get you too riled up or anything, but I wanted to ask you, what do you think about this guy? Okay, sorry. Okay, yeah, I know you don't like to hear about him, but just hear me out. Look at his little feet. Aren't they cute? They're kind of cute. Okay, cool, it's okay. You don't have to look at his feet. But it also says there's a zipper in his neck where his flag is stored. Yes. Yes, you're right. You're right. It is creepy. I just, I keep thinking if only he would come here, then maybe we could help him, like reform him. No, I don't think any stuffed animal or any bear, any stuffed animal is beyond hope. I believe in a place called hope. Okay, okay, cool. There's probably kids watching this. Okay, okay. We don't have to talk about him anymore. I promise. This seems like a pretty good stopping point, right? Well, Guelah, then thank you so much for being with us tonight. I hope you'll come back sometime. Well, okay then. I think that went pretty well. Let's do some Q&A. So, that was Guelah. I he he's a special platypus. So I guess we should do some questions here. I have a few that were sent in this week. There's one actually that's kind of coronavirus related. It's actually a stuffed rotavirus, which I don't know if you've seen those. They're those kind of stuffed germs that you can get at places like, at toy stores. But this question is from a stuffed rotavirus, and basically he's saying that his human companion is the 7-year-old boy, and they get along really great, but the dad is not a fan of the rotavirus, and he apparently he says that he's getting scapegoated for everything. That's a tough one. I'm imagining that maybe there's been an incident with a real rotavirus, which I know is a loaded term. I know it causes a lot of maybe intestinal distress. So it's really difficult to separate yourself, your stuffed self from an actual virus. I don't know if you ever thought about costuming. Sometimes if you put on a hat or something, you become a little bit less recognizable as a rotavirus. That's really not the best answer. I mean, it seems like the dad is the one who is having the problems, and not you. I hate to recommend avoidance, but maybe kind of staying out of his way as much as possible. Yeah, I'm sorry that that's happening to you. Let's see, we have a few questions in the comments. Stuffed just seems like an adjective that has jumped the shark. Do you have an alternative? The stuffed animal community still uses stuffed to describe themselves. I don't really, my stuffed friends don't seem to have any issues with it. There's a few cases that it's when people use the adjective to describe things like eating too much. If you're like, that can potentially be slightly offensive to a stuffed animal. The stuffed intellectual community has some things to say on the matter. Maybe I can get like a stuffed linguist in to talk about kind of the history of the word and where it's going. Let's see. Has the SARF had difficulty sourcing stuffed animal medical supplies? No. We, we put most of our surgeries on hold. I think last week we had 2 stuffed koalas on, and they had postponed the second half of their surgery. Pretty much since stuffed animals don't breathe in the same way, their mask needs are different. So they definitely don't need anything like an N95 mask. As long as they're covering themselves when they're out in public, that's the main thing. If you're going out in public and you're pretending to sneeze or pretending to cough, I was talking to Guelah earlier about how a lot of times I'm seeing stuffed animals not following those rules. But in terms of sourcing, no, fortunately we're not having too many difficulties. Let's see. I have another question. Okay, this is from a Mr. Bison. He's a bison. He likes to charge around his room. But with the coronavirus going around, he's afraid of exposure. I believe in SA social distancing, but my nature is to charge. I'm so conflicted. Once again, it feels like we kind of get the same questions over and over again. It's very hard to social distance when you're accustomed to living in a very different way. I know that Mr. Bison here says he sings the charge song and charges around. I mean, I don't think that you need to stop doing that. It sounds like you're doing it in your room or in your companion's room. So as long as you're not charging out in public, I think you can go ahead and just keep charging along, Mr. Bison. What else? We have a kangaroo, a single mother of one little Joey. She's been accused of being overprotective. Some of the non-kangaroo moms in my Joey's Playground say it's not good for him to be so clingy. With the virus, though, once again, another virus question. I haven't let him out of his pouch in weeks. Am I being overprotective? That's every stuffed animal has a different tolerance for I think that we are all experiencing some strangeness, things we're not used to, things we're not accustomed to. It sounds like you, though, might be this way even when the virus is not an issue. Because, as I had said last week, the research isn't that great on how things affect stuffed animals. So I would say, if your little Joey is still little, I mean, I think that both he and you will get accustomed to spending more time apart, and I wouldn't rush yourself. I wouldn't do anything that makes you feel uncomfortable. If you want to keep him in your pouch, that's fine, as long as he's okay with it. If he's getting older and people are making fun of him and he's experiencing some discomfort, then you need to take his feelings into consideration. But until then, I would say now is probably an okay time to be a little bit overprotective. Okay. Let's see. Oh, sorry, lots more questions I was missing. Is the SARF still doing adoptions at this time? Not right now, no. We've suspended adoptions, and it's kind of a slow time in our adoption cycle anyway. After I was going to say after Christmas, but apparently it's already May, and the last several months have been a blur. But yeah, we have put all of our adoptions on hold right now. Let's see. Oh, a follow-up question about the bison. How do you know it's a cisgendered male bison? He told me in his email. Well, he definitely called himself Mr. Bison. So I'm assuming Mr. Bison is probably a Mr. Who is the smallest stuffed animal and how small? So this is a really interesting question, and hopefully will be. Oh, I just saw another question. Let me pause on that one. I'm seeing a message from it's Guelah's grandmother who's asking why he's not wearing a mask. Well, because he is isolating. He's obviously joining us via Zoom and in his room. So there's no need for him to be wearing a mask. Obviously, if he were out and about, then he would be wearing a mask just like everyone else should be. So who is this? Back to who is the smallest stuffed animal and how small? So stuffed animals have a very interesting life cycle, and there has been some really interesting research recently. There was a discovery of a stuffed platypus that is actually very similar in species to Guelah, our Spokesplatypus, my living companion. He was found in a Goodwill, and they, dug him out, and the scientists realized that they had found this very special missing link of sorts when it comes to stuffed animal aging, because stuffed animals actually shrink when they age, and so this particular animal was kind of a proof of that theory. Now, in terms of who the smallest stuffed animal is, we don't really know, because theoretically stuffed animals will continue to shrink. We don't know what happens when they shrink to like a single point, like not a singularity, but like a single point. And that takes so long, their life cycles are so much longer than humans, that we don't really have any sort of good science that shows what happens after that. So we'll be there's a news story that's going to be coming out pretty soon that tells you all about the stuffed animal life cycle and how that all fits together. Let's see. I think I have one more question from the email. Oh, we do. This is from a living companion who is the partner that has a stuffed spider, and the spider is actually a puppet, meaning I don't know if puppet is probably not the best word, but has a place inside where you can put your hand and kind of manipulate that your stuffed animal friend. So the the living companion's hand is a bit too small to access all of the different legs of the spider, and he's feeling a little inadequate. You know, I would just, if you were the spider in the situation, I would just be very encouraging and make it very clear that you're just pretending. You don't need to feel, you don't need to be fully functioning and have all of your different legs going at the same time. I mean, eventually your living companion's hands will grow and everything will be fine. I would just encourage you to be encouraging, and don't let your living companion get too discouraged by things. Let's see. I don't know if you were all here at the beginning, or if our technical difficulties were too bad, but we did, Guelah and I did talk a little bit about Trumpy Bear. It's kind of a sore subject, but I just wanted to bring him up. I personally feel like Trumpy Bear isn't a bad bear. I think that he really can't help who he's been branded to be. Kind of like if you think about a Kermit, like a stuffed Kermit. Every stuffed Kermit does not have Kermit's personality. That stuffed animal just happens to look like that character. So I would just encourage you, if you do come across a Trumpy Bear, there's no need to be mean or hateful to the bear. And if you do come across one that does need some sort of therapy, rehabilitation of any kind, we would love, absolutely would love to take one in and you know, just welcome him and show him some empathy, perhaps. And so let's see. Someone is questioning the term puppet. Yeah, puppet is not the best term. I mean, Muppet is very acceptable, but you know, puppets and Muppets are different, and stuffed animals are different. But did I use a stuffed animal companion? Yes, stuffed animal companion is the preferred term. Like, Guelah is my stuffed companion, and I am his living companion. I mean, you can have multiple companions in the stuffed world. A lot of people have a primary stuffed companion, but you don't have to. You can have several at the same time. There's nothing weird about that. But yeah, the stuffed animal companion is preferred. Let's see. I don't know if I have any. Did I miss any questions this time? I'm not seeing any more. So I think next week, hopefully I'll continue to work out the technical difficulties of the being here at the not SARF headquarters. But I hope to. Oh, sorry, that was one more question, because this is a really interesting one. What is the SARF stance on Build-A-Bears? The Build-A-Bear places? I have to say, we take in a lot of different stuffed animals, and Build-A-Bear animals, whether they're bears or cats or rabbits, there's several different ones, they are probably donated to us the most out of any other genre of stuffed animal. So many Build-A-Bear stuffed animals come to us. I'm not sure why. There's some sort of attachment issue happening, and you would think that if you are responsible for actually putting the stuffing into your stuffed companion, then you would feel more attached. That's kind of how I always thought about it, but I don't know if there's some magic that is lost, or if it's just hard, like watching it, like if you watch a live birth, like that might be kind of uncomfortable for you. Maybe it's something like that. I think also Build-A-Bear animals tend to look a little generic, in the sense of there are a lot of them that look exactly the same, and I think sometimes it's harder to see your particular stuffed animal's own personality through that when you're seeing that stuffed animal everywhere you go. So a lot of times when we get stuffed animals that are branded as, if they have something that links them to a holiday or links them to a specific season, a lot of times we will remove that thing. But with Build-A-Bear creatures, a lot of times we are tasked with making them more unique, adding things to them that kind of help express their personalities better. So yeah, I don't really know what the problem is with Build-A-Bears, but I mean, they're great. They're great stuffed animals. I mean, they're lovely. We've never had any emotional issues or social issues with any Build-A-Bears. So it's just a strange attachment thing, I think. Okay. There is one more question. I think. Oh, it's 8 o'clock. Wow, that went fast. Okay, so next week I think that I will be talking to a stuffed piece of toast. I know that during the pandemic, making bread has become kind of a big thing for a lot of people. So we're going to talk to stuffed toast, and hopefully he'll have some insights into being stuffed and bread. All right, well, we'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.